We're drafting the worst Philadelphia sports moments of all time.
You'll see James Bradbury. They're going to say
An Achilles problem, but no chance he can make it down to first base.
My mental image is, you guys ever seen the I feel like I see it whenever a Philly moment worthy of something we might draft here happens. It's the two astronauts and the one's looking at Earth and he's like, pain, it's always been pain, or something like that. And the other one has like a gun pointed at him and it's just like Philly sports on the Earth.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. It's always been pain.
Yeah, Parker, start us off. You seem pretty confident. What's the worst moment?
All right. I have a clear number one. This is like a moment where you know where you are when you're watching this.
What if I didn't watch it?
Well, then you don't know where you are, and you probably didn't watch it. But Kawhi's shot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kawhi's shot, it hit the rim 7 times before trickling in. Heartbreak. Yeah. That was when Ben Simmons and Embiid were playing well together. That was their shot to make a run. Toronto ended up winning that game.
And the championship.
And then they ended up winning the championship. That was our shot. If Kawhi wouldn't have hit that, the Sixers could have made that run. Yeah. It was a weak East. They could have won the championship. But no, that shot went in and just true heartbreak. Like, I cried for probably 3 days after that.
Oh wow.
I'm not gonna lie. Not the entire day, but like sporadically during the day. Okay. Very sad for me, especially being a huge basketball fan.
Number 2 overall. I will just say I'm not confident in this being the number 2 overall.
I'm not confident
Just
in any of
put
my
that
picks
out there.
to be. I don't even know what my picks are going to be going forward. So
I think that this one is a good number 2 because it's sad on 2 levels. So the number 2 overall pick sad on 2 levels. The last out of the 2011 NLDS when Ryan Howard tore his Achilles. That is just like so devastating because just seeing Ryan Howard fall to the ground having torn his Achilles, and then with hindsight we know that basically ruined his career. He was never the same after. And you also have the pain of that Phillies team in 2011 won 102 games and then lost.
Arguably better than the 08 team.
Probably the best Phillies team they've ever had. They had the 4 aces and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. It's in Philly. Just game 5 of the NLDS in Philly. A heartbreaking 1-0 loss. A terrible way to lose in a winner-take-all game at home with a 100-win team, and then your amazing young star, who he was still relatively young, tears his Achilles on the last out, and it's just, heartbreaking on so many levels. I really talked myself into. I feel much more confident about that one.
Yeah, that is sad.
After saying
you
that.
really sold it. You did do a good job selling that.
Unconfidently, I think I'm gonna go with something a little more recent in history. Just the 2022 Bradbury holding call leading to the loss
That's a good
of
one.
a very, very winnable Super Bowl against the Chiefs. That if they didn't make that call, there's a solid chance we win that game.
The way Hurts was playing.
The way Hurts was playing, the way everybody was playing, the way that season went. The fact that Jason Kelce could have gotten another ring right there.
He probably would have retired if they won that.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then his last game would have been that instead of the Bucks game. Anyway.
Yeah.
You got back to back.
I do have
How many picks are you?
Oh, man.
4.
Okay.
I'll just stick in recent history because I'm really bad at thinking in the past. I'm just going to go straight up with the Phillies getting no hit in the World Series against the Astros.
Okay, I was wondering I think there's 3 moments in that World Series that are pretty awful, so I wondered which one you were going to go with.
I'm just going to go with the Phillies getting no hit. I mean, I feel like that is the very moment right there where I knew we were not going to win that World Series. The fact that we got no hit in a World Series game, and it just right there was like, we're probably not going to win this series.
That is pretty sad. That's definitely sad.
Yeah. I'll go with Eagles, Saints. Nick Foles replaces Carson Wentz, is in the middle of leading the team towards a game-winning drive, throws a pass to Alshon Jeffrey, goes right through his hands. It's picked off, and the season's over. Just there was so much momentum, and it was like Nick Foles is amazing, and then just right through Jeffrey's hands, and it was over just so fast.
Yeah, that's sad. That's a really good one. That is a great one, actually. I'm actually gonna go football. I'm gonna go the football route. Let's take us back in time. I mean, obviously, the Eagles have had some pretty heartbreaking losses to the Bucs.
I think the Eagles are the highest rated.
They've had a ton of heartbreaking losses, especially to Tampa Bay. Back in 2002.
Good one.
They lost in a heartbreaker. What was his name?
Rondé Barber.
Yeah, Rondé Barber.
Pick six.
That guy was a dog.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about him. 92-yard pick six. Put the game out of reach.
That was a devastating moment. Yeah.
That was the NFC Championship game. And the Eagles were good that year. Like, they could have won.
And that was right in the middle. That's also heartbreaking because it was right in the middle of, like, another NFC Championship loss.
Yeah.
They were in their streak.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, oh, this is, we made it to the NFC Championship, let's go. There was high expectations that year. And they started out the game with a kick return. They literally went 70 yards, got a kick return. But it was all downhill from there, and then they opened 92-yard pick six.
Yeah.
I've watched that play just in, like, YouTube clips and stuff. It seems awful, like really bad. So obviously it was before we were alive, but still really sucks.
Yeah.
And then I actually don't know a whole lot of baseball, so I'm not going to go baseball.
Huh. You tricked me.
I was trying to trick you. But I have to go with another, like, I got to go with a recent heart stopper for me.
Okay.
Like a personal heartthrob, basically, you could say, in the Philadelphia sports world. Game 7. Game 7, Sixers versus the Hawks. They're winning that game. They're winning the closeout
Dang it, Parker.
of the series.
Dang it.
But what happens?
Dang it.
Ben Simmons lays a dud, a goose egg, and more specifically, passes on a wide open dunk. Could have easily dunked the ball. Is just timid the entire game.
Trae Young coming over to guard him under the basket, I believe.
And he doesn't do anything. He literally just gives up in that game, and he gave up from the very opening tip-off. And the rest,
such a good pick.
The rest played out just awful. And I can't stand watching that game. I can't stand Ben Simmons now. Absolute heartbreaker for me, and I just can't believe it, because that was a game 7 closeout game where you need to be at your best, and he came out and did nothing. That was when we knew Ben Simmons was fake.
And was that a blown 3-1 lead against the Hawks?
Yes. Yeah. They were up 3-1.
Yeah.
And that was game 7. They had already lost the previous 2, partially because of Ben Simmons, and then he continued the narrative all the way to a loss in the postseason.
That's such a good pick. I was hoping I could grab that one later, but yeah. And if you guys really enjoy seeing our pain, we have that moment documented. We live streamed that game right here in this room on that TV.
Yeah.
We felt that immense pain. That was a really good pick.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we were in that one together. Even Luke.
Yeah.
Even Luke knows about that one.
Yeah. Okay, I will actually go baseball.
Okay.
Again, 2 out of my top 3 baseball, but the Phillies also have a lot of heartbreaking moments. I know I said the Eagles are up there, but I mean, the Phillies, they've been around since 1883, and they've won 2 World Series. And they've won the pennant 10 times. So there's a lot of bad years in there.
Right.
And I think this is a steal with my 3rd overall pick, I think this is a steal with my 3rd pick. 1993 Joe Carter walk-off home run on Mitch Williams. To lose the World Series on a walk-off, to win a World Series on a walk-off home run, greatest thing you can imagine. To lose it, one of the worst ways to lose. It was game 6, not game 7, so it was like not quite as bad because you still had to win that game and then earn a game 7, but still, like, you're in the game right up until the end. You're trying to force a game 7, and then you have to see the other team celebrate a walk-off home run to beat you in the World Series. That's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I would say
That is that's awful.
yeah. My third pick, going back to the Birds, because a lot of heartbreaks there. I'm going to go with the 2005 Super Bowl loss to the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's never fun to lose in the Super Bowl, let alone to Tom Brady himself.
A lot of those early 2000s moments.
Yeah. But, I mean, this one hits a little close to home. Mere days after I was born, this Super Bowl was played. I was maybe a week or two old when this was played. I always hear the story about how my dad was scared he was going to have to watch it in the hospital because my mom was in labor during the Eagles Super Bowl. But, yeah, I mean, the way they almost came back at the end of that game, the interception at the very end, and they just couldn't make it happen with the little time they had left. And that one is definitely a tough one. Not that, I mean, technically I was alive during it, but not that I remember watching it in person. But obviously, any championship loss as a Philadelphia sports fan is hard to cope with. Then with the wraparound and my fourth and final pick, maybe a controversial pick, but one that hits very close to home, is the retirement of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jason.
No way. That's not sad though. He retired in a good way.
That was bittersweet.
But
that's not disappointing though.
if he played for the rest of his life, I would have given anything to watch him play for the rest
The
of his life.
glazing on Jason Kelsey is crazy.
I love Jason Kelsey.
You're glazing him though.
I don't care if that takes up my fourth spot. I'll let it take up my first, second, and third too.
What?
No, I'm joking.
So you lose the entire draft? It's just photo of Jason
Kelsey retirement press conference.
That thing had me in tears. That press
Yeah.
conference had me
Yeah.
in tears, man.
But he's talking about how great
it's happy sad.
his time.
It's happy sad. He had a great career,
Yeah.
but like,
So
it's not just heartbreaking.
it is to me.
I guess that's
why I said I don't care what.
Hey, it's a
anybody
draft
else
pick. It's like it's a little bit better than
we know
Jarvis
who's
Landry.
not getting last now.
It's a little bit better than
says.
Jarvis
I will take
Landry.
last place for Jason Kelsey every day.
Oh my goodness! All right, my last pick, the Philadelphia Union losing to LAFC 2022 kicked off the Philadelphia 2022 losing in championship streak. Not quite as impactful if you're not a soccer fan, which I'm not even like a hardcore Philadelphia Union fan. I follow them loosely, but I remember I knew the championship was that day. I was checking the score like every 15 minutes. I couldn't watch it, but and they were up, and there were like 88 minutes into the game. And it's like they're gonna do it, and then I didn't check for a little while because I just thought they were gonna win, and I checked back in. And they gave up a goal in like the 90th minute, and then they ended up losing. And just, such an awful way to lose a championship. Horrible. And so,
that's awful. I feel like you guys got most of the sports covered. Eagles and the Phillies. I'm gonna stick to what I know best with my last pick.
Yeah, I wanted a Sixers, and I'm
gonna stick to basketball. I'm just gonna grab all the 76ers because for me personally, it's the most heartbreak because I'm the most invested. So the more invested you are, the more heartbroken you feel. And so
I thought the first two you took were the clear top two, so I'm really interested.
Yeah, well, we're gonna pull an old one out here.
Okay.
This is before I was alive, so obviously I didn't know this when it happened. But the 1981 Eastern Conference Finals against guess who? The Celtics. Obviously, the Celtics are awful. They've been awful even 25 years before I was born.
Shoot, I want to redraft my fourth pick.
Well,
you can do an honorable
don't tell
mention.
Jason Kelsey that.
Yeah. But guess what? They're up 3-1 in the series. They're up 3-1 in 1981. It was the 1981 season, 1982.
So your last two picks you're taking, the Sixers blowing 3-1.
Yes, but this one,
goodness.
Game 5 lost by 2 points. Game 6 lost by 2 points. Game 7 lost by 1 point. Lose the series to the Celtics. Guess who the Celtics played in the finals? Okay? It's not just like, oh yeah, this was just the conference finals. Like, it doesn't make a big deal. They played the sub-500 Houston Rockets in the finals and destroyed them. Because of course they destroyed them. They were a sub-500 team.
So it was basically a finals
loss. It was
loss.
basically a finals loss, and you lose the final 3 games by a combined 5 points.
That's insane.
That's awful.
Wow.
That is awful to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Makes me mad.
I did not know about that. That's a good one. That was good, like a good history lesson.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So that's the draft. Could you recount your team for us?
Yeah, so I had 3 Sixers moments. Obviously, the 1981 conference finals, the dreaded Kawhi shot in the conference finals back in 2019 over Joel Embiid on the baseline where he hit the shot. All right, anyway, okay.
Yeah.
And then the Hawks series where the Sixers are up 3-1. Ben Simmons passes up a wide open dunk and just collapses in Game 7. And then, my Rondé Barber 92-yard pick six in the 2002 NFC Championship game. Eagles end up losing to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had Ryan Howard tears his Achilles as the Phillies lose the 2011 NLDS. Alshon Jeffrey has the pass from Nick Foles go through his hands. Eagles lose to the Saints. Joe Carter walk-off home run against the Phillies in 93. And then the Union lose to LAFC in the championship in 2022.
Yep. I have the Eagles losing the Super Bowl to the Chiefs in 22 with the Bradbury hold. Eagles losing the Super Bowl in 05, not capitalizing on the interception at the end of the game. Phillies getting no hit in, what was it, Game 3 of the World Series?
3 or 4.
Game 3 or 4 of the 2022 World Series. And the retirement of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jason Kelsey. It was a very depressing draft.